Hi, I'm Tricia, Research Manager at Immerse.
I'm Christina, Curriculum and Assessment Manager at Immerse.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots, Converse on the Verse. This show is all about diving into the pedagogy and efficacy behind Immerse, the first virtual reality language learning platform designed specifically for live language teaching and learning.
In this episode, Tricia and I share our experience at EUROCALL 2023. I hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome back, you guys. As you heard in our intro, today we're going to be talking about the EUROCALL conference that Christina and I just got back from a few weeks ago in Iceland, in Reykjavik. So if anyone's unfamiliar with it, EUROCALL stands for the European Computer Assisted Language Learning Association. So it's, a lot of universities, a lot of program managers attend who are interested in computer assisted language learning technology and language learning. So Christina, let's just dive all right in. I wonder if you
Okay.
can tell me, why did we go to EuroCall? This was
Okay.
Immerse's first time at EuroCall.
It was. First of all, it was Iceland. So how amazing was that?
Mhm.
But but really, we were there to really bring light to our new program that we're working on, which is our language program referral program. It gives universities, colleges, private language schools an opportunity for their students to engage in our platform. And so we really wanted to highlight that. But you also presented some
Mhm.
outstanding research and we together presented. So why don't we start and talk about your presentation first?
Yeah, that's a great segue. So my presentation, and we'll talk more about this on later podcasts, but you might have seen we got a big grant from Meta.
Mhm.
Immerse received a big grant from Meta, and with that, we received 500 VR headsets and some financial support to basically distribute them to different high schools located throughout the US. So it's a massive project. It's very much still ongoing, but we did a pilot study this past spring with one of our local high schools. And, all the schools are in kind of a different spot at this point. And so we attended Eurocall really our goal as like a research team was to get the word out about the project, make look at this large scale study that we're working on to make sure everyone was aware of it, but also to report on those pilot findings and we do have some exciting ones. We found that students learned vocabulary better in Immerse than in more traditional settings. We found that object interaction, when they're able to actually pick up an object and interact with it in VR compared to just looking at it, we found that that learned a better vocabulary learning and retention. Um, and then we talked a lot about our lessons learned of getting set up with a high school. Like, what does it actually look like to bring 30 headsets into a underserved high school in the US and work with administrators and teachers. So yeah, my research team and our research team and myself, we did like I think it was technically called a symposium on that. So it
Okay.
was like an hour and a half. But Christina and I also presented as well on Immerse.
Yeah, we covered the pedagogy, we covered all the pillars of Immerse. So we covered what the live classes look like, what the events look like, what the AI powered avatar practices look like, and what the language games look like. But I want to go back to your presentation for a second because you had such a full house that when I walked up there 5 minutes later, I couldn't get a seat in the room. So kudos because that was really excellent.
Yeah.
Our presentation was a lot shorter in time. I think we only had about 40 or 45 minutes.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think those that were there were really engaged, but overall, I
Right.
think it was a successful conference because we got to meet so many amazing people and hear about so many different programs around the globe. Um, we also got so many pleas from the Icelandic language teachers,
Yeah.
right? And I want to give them a shout out because, I mean, they're really strong advocates for, maintaining the language of the country and helping promote it and get people to actually learn the language who are visiting. So, I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah. I
Any
actually
other takeaways?
I want to talk a little bit about their project that they're hoping to do with Immerse. So the conference organizer, his name was Branislav, and he is Icelandic. He's very passionate about, keeping their language alive, transmitting it to new generations. And so one of the things that he talked to Christina and I about was actually trying to get some grant funding from, I
Mm.
guess it's the education ministry in Iceland. They give a lot of funding out um, in terms of teaching the Icelandic language. And he actually wants to next summer, if he's successful in getting that funding, to have some research assistants translate all of Immerse's curriculum into Icelandic. So for us as a
Yeah.
company, it's like that's such an amazing opportunity.
Right.
And for them, they were really excited about the idea of having like a VR platform where they're able to immerse students in these realistic settings and really help them learn Icelandic. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to see how it unfolds in the next few months. It's still very early stages, but it's definitely a promising opportunity, I think, for us and for them. I think it could be a really cool
Right.
partnership.
No, I totally agree. And his program that he wants to launch this in are when visitors come
Mhm.
to Iceland for the summer. So these are adult visitors from around the world that want to learn Icelandic. And I
I would
mean,
have loved to know some while we were
would
there.
you know, great if we could have engaged in that before we went there, as we struggled a little bit as language learners in Iceland.
Yeah,
Fortunately, so many people spoke English, but
yeah.
we still all the signage was, we had our challenges there. But I attended a couple great sessions, and one that really resonated with me because of what we do here at Immerse, because communication is at the forefront, like real authentic communication, right? So I did go to a session on like task-based projects
Mhm.
that revolve around communicative functions. And it just really, for me, it validated what we do here at Immerse, right? So that we build language through communicative tasks, whether it's going to the doctor's, ordering in a coffee shop, right? Getting through an airport. So that was a really exciting session too. And then why don't you talk about our raffle? What do we do there?
Before that,
Okay.
I
Okay.
wanna add to that, another big takeaway that I think we both had, and we weren't surprised that everyone was talking about AI. People are talking about AI everywhere. We've all heard it way too many times to count. But it was very encouraging, I will say, to see that, this group of educators who are language learning experts, they were all viewing AI as a tool, a supplement,
Right.
but never there weren't really any conversations going on of like, AI is gonna replace teachers. AI is gonna replace human to human connection. It was all very much like, "This is a tool, how can we use it wisely?" And it was validating because that's exactly what we're doing in Immerse. Even the way that you've designed the AI role plays, they're not even meant to be done necessarily, like, independently, even though you could. They're meant to complement the classes that we
Right.
have with live teachers and other students, and I think the people who were attending and who came to the booth and who learned about Immerse were really pleased to see that. Like, that was definitely kind of like an aha moment for them was like, "Okay, this company is using AI, but in a way that we think is wise and appropriate." Um
Right. Yeah, no, that was so welcoming. And I think that people really it really spoke to people, the human to human
Mhm.
connection that's built into our platform.
Yeah,
And, with all of this around AI, we kept hearing that, "Oh, well, you guys have humans,"
right.
so yeah, I think that was a great takeaway as well.
So to go to our raffle, which was really exciting. So this was our first time, Christina and I's first time exhibiting at a conference for Immerse. So we actually had a table set up in the main area. And one of the things we did as part of our sponsorship is we gave away 25 group student memberships
Mm,
for a free 1 month trial. It's a mouthful. I'm struggling to say it.
yeah.
But we basically awarded 3 different universities that were interested in our program 25 memberships to use for their students. And so we actually did a raffle where throughout the conference, people could put their business cards in, and then at the end of the conference, there was, like, a closing reception, so everyone had, like, drinks and food, and Christina and I actually announced it there, and all the winners were so excited. My favorite thing was everyone being like, "I never win anything." You know?
Right, right. We heard that, I think, from all free
Mhm.
winners. Yeah, and they're very anxious to get started. So that was really
Mhm.
exciting being able to give the gift of language, right?
Yeah.
And I that's yeah, that's golden there. Okay, so to wrap up, final thoughts, Trisha, final thoughts on the conference. I'll let you leave the final thoughts.
I'll say my final thoughts is I was just really impressed. It was a smaller conference than some of the other ones we're attending this fall. But I actually think for Christina and I, we ended up enjoying it more because we were really able to establish relationships with everyone who was there to really connect with them and reconnect with them over the days that we were at the conference. So yeah, I mean, I think it was our first time exhibiting. I was so happy with how it went. It was just really engaging and motivating for us, I think, to see everyone's reactions to Immerse. So to wrap up, I will give a little preview of where we're going to be next because we have so many conferences this fall. So Christina, correct me if I miss anyone. We'll be doing EduCause in Chicago. I almost said California,
Mhm.
Chicago. I believe it's October 9th through 12th. So that one's coming up really soon. And Christina and our head of education will also be at English USA right after that, October 12th and 13th. And then we're also doing Sunshine State TESOL and California TESOL later on in October. So we will be all over the place this fall, and we hope to see you at some conferences. Definitely let us know if you'll be at any of them.
That's great, Trisha. Thanks for sharing out where we're going to be and keep an eye out for our newsletter because we're also highlighting where we've been and where we're going. And you'll have an extra link to our podcast. So thanks again for joining us this week, and we'll see you next.